with memory. What you do now, which we call reality, actively collects and stores all the information in your hippocampus through the action of endocannabinoids. Molecules are known to increase synaptic plasticity. The rate at which your memory of your recent learned information decays depends on the time that has elapsed following your learning experience. This means utilizing all that you have learned will benefit you in the long run. But in this case of trauma, why is it difficult to erase trauma from a memory? What is the role of time, reality, and illusion that the brain creates after years of trauma? I empathize with those who have endured trauma significantly. In this video, you will understand how the brain creates illusion when you are triggered. Let's start by exploring the concept of time. The present moment exists between the past and the future, connecting what we have done and what we are yet to do. This connection to the past and the future plays a significant role in our lives. Consider a situation where something from the past continues to affect you for years while you are also envisioning a bright future. This continuity of time is the way the brain helps to develop a new cell in the brain. But what happens when you experience a traumatic event? The brain goes into shock and struggles to process new physical sensations. Ultimately, it all comes down to the brain. Each cell becomes intensely focused on interpreting these unfamiliar signals in an attempt to produce a satisfactory response. Unfortunately, the cells circumvent the normal process to yield a satisfactory result. Instead, the brain begins generating an excessive amount of negatively charged neurons, leading to overstimulating of the brain. This information ends up becoming a trap and isn't stored as a good memory to recall, but it does impact episodic memory. So let's delve deeper into what happens to our brain when we experience long-term trauma. So let's look at the slide to understand how it impacts our brain. So imagine you are triggered. The place is safe and sound, but if something you see or hear or smell, you get triggered. This takes you far away from the reality, causing a highly electrical, negatively charged neurons to go in one direction to a brain region called the amygdala. Things may seem all right from the outside, but instead a tsunami of memory flashes at the speed of micromilliseconds. So what happens from the outside? And why is it difficult to focus on the present moment? The answer lies in time. When you do something, you're actively learning from the environment. It helps your brain to expand and to improve memory. So the reality is nothing you are fully present at the present moment and constantly interacting with the environment. So if you stop for a moment and look into the past, does this mean your brain is not learning anything from the present moment? Because your consciousness in the past and not at the present moment, which means time lapsed for some time, and your past is so powerfully orchestrated deep within your brain, and until the trauma memory is not resolved, it comes back and stops you from learning things from the present moment. This trauma that occurred in your life 10 years ago or 20 years ago has nothing to do with the present and no connection with the present. You're doing the right thing at the present moment, but your brain is creating an illusion from the past that is real. During high stimulation, the brain can become defensive, causing past memories to resurface unexpectedly. So what defensive means here is you are trying to protect yourself from getting harmed where there is no danger. This can lead to rewiring of the brain's signal pathways, making one aware of being in a state of trauma. The brain operates as if 95% it is convinced that you're experiencing trauma and have been through a traumatic event. You might feel like you're experiencing trauma, but it's actually an illusion created by the brain. Only 5% of your function are dedicated to processing reality, and it means activates the flight or fight response. All of this occurs within the brain, and time flies by. Amygdala, a small almond-shaped region in the brain, plays a significant role in recollecting past trauma. During PTSD, the brain becomes enlarged, causing the brain to lose focus on the reality and leading intense inner turmoil, making it challenging to cope with daily life. The environment also influences the sympathetic nervous system, making you hypersensitive to the environment you live in. What do you need to do in this case? The first step is to eliminate triggers. It is essential for starting a new life, which involves living in the moment, to be precise, and making the most of the present. All we need is to create new memories, to occupy our mind and form strong, positive connections in our brain. It is important to stay grounded in reality as much as possible during this time. So let's look at the slide, and you'll notice that the time and reality are now closely connected, and the brain doesn't register the impact of past traumatic events. It is because new experiences fill the space in our memory, allowing the brain to function normally as time passes. Remaining silent and refusing to speak during the early stages is not the best approach to healing from trauma. Doing so can create obstacles to healing trauma, creating a calm and loving atmosphere by openly sharing emotions during conversation can help build positive memories and increase the release of feel-good chemicals in the brain such as dopamine and serotonin. As you start to convey positive emotions during a conversation, you will notice the enlarged amygdala returning to its standard shape and size. This is because the oxytocin we call love helps to calm amygdala. It's also crucial to regulate blood sugar levels and boost metabolism for PTSD patients. This aspect is often overlooked in PTSD. Elevated blood sugar can lead to impairment of prefrontal cortex, which we call it PFC, resulting in difficulty with clear thinking and slowing down decision-making processes among individuals with PTSD. Don't forget to keep an eye on your vitamin D, B12, and calcium levels. Vitamin D and B12 deficiencies are closely associated with fatigue and neurological issues. It's essential to be mindful of the dietary habits of individuals with PTSD, as they often have poor eating habits. Keeping track of vitamin intake is crucial, also to benefit your brain. The combination of melatonin and Brahmi can be quite beneficial, as it may help improve your sleep quality and enhance focus. In adults, a range of 0.5 mg to 5 mg of melatonin appears to be safe and effective. Anything beyond this, you are creating problems for your brain and increasing addictions. As you continue these practices, you'll find that if something triggers you, you realize that the trauma has no longer power over you. You embark a new journey with a positive mindset, bringing a greater sense of calm and happiness. I hope this video was helpful to you, and no longer trauma can control your brain and your life. Feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts about this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I appreciate your support. Thank you.